Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. This is the third news on 15th February newspaper front page dawn. Government may sublet unused capacity at LNG terminals by Khali Kiani. Islamabad, the government is likely to sublet unutilized and surplus capacity at existing liquefied natural gas terminal to cut LNG tariff and restrict their further expansion to give a clear signal to private parties for investments in commercial terminals. An interministerial committee led by Planning Commission's Deputy Chairman Dr. Jahanzeb Khan and also comprising Secretaries of Finance, Petroleum and Maritime Affairs appointed by the Federal Cabinet arrived at this conclusion that it linked a final decision on the quantity of surplus or excess capacity and its viability into a technical study by an international consultant. Interestingly, the committee report to be taken up by Cabinet Committee on Energy this week completely ignores one of the basic aspects of its creation, how to create LNG storage capacity and how it is ensured that terminal operators do not sell the same capacity twice. This indicates that last year's oil shortage problem, which had been attributed to no storage, may be repeated in the LNG case as no new storage capacity is proposed in the report, while a greater stress has been put on the value chain despite the safety concerns expressed by public sector LNG companies regarding overutilization of the two existing LNG terminals. The Economic Coordination Committee, ECC, of the Cabinet had decided on July 31, 2019, that terminal operators could allocate their additional and LNG regasification capacity into a third party on a commercial basis, provided the government cargoes would always have priority on berthing, storage, and regasification vis-a-vis private cargo. ECC has also set a condition that if the government is unable to utilize contracted capacity of 600 mmcfd at any time, any sale to private party will be treated as sale of GOP capacity to reduce its take or pay obligation up to 600 mmcfd, that is terminal cannot resell same capacity twice. No further enhancement or expansion of existing two terminals be allowed beyond the current agreed plans in order to give a clear signal to the market for development of new terminals on a merchant basis, the committee recommended. It added that independent third-party risk assessment for increased throughput through the terminal and LNG infrastructure should be commissioned by Pakistan LNG Terminals Limited and Swiss Southern Gas Company PLTL SSGC in consultation with the terminal operators. It said the terminal and operational risks should be mitigated. Before increased throughput is allowed on the terminal, and OCRA should review the risk assessment and allow utilization of excess capacity accordingly. The committee concluded that a third-party access TPA, in the first instance be considered for undisputed excess capacity of 60 mmcfd at Terminal 2 belonging to Pakistan Gas Ports Limited (PGPL). Also, the PGPL can subsequently utilize the 90 mmcfd capacity difference between peak daily delivery capacity and daily delivery capacity. At Terminal 2, if PLTL does not demand it according to an agreed plan, revenue sharing on TPA quantity could be based on a reasonable percentage of the tolling tariff applicable on the contracted capacity, said the report. As things stand now, both terminal operators offer to pay 25% of tolling tariff applicable on contracted capacity for excess volumes on a take and pay basis, while the government and entities want operators to pay 75% of tolling tariff on a take or pay basis, as they had underwritten complete investment and guaranteed return to operators irrespective of utilization of terminal capacity. For Terminal 1, Angro, in its existing form, there is no claim from the terminal operator regarding excess capacity, but it wants to bring a larger terminal to expand the capacity. The Terminal 2 of PGPL 60 mmCFD is clearly an excess capacity, as the difference between 750 mmCFD physical capacity and 690 mmCFD peak daily delivery capacity. The capacity between 600 mmCFD daily delivery capacity and 690 peak daily delivery capacity, the way contract is drafted appears to be available to PLTL as the first right on reasonable endeavor basis. By the same token, if PLTL is not utilizing the capacity, it should be available unto the operator for utilization as excess capacity. The committee argues that in the absence of OGRA's PTA rules for dedicated terminals, the negotiated agreement between the parties will have to be endorsed by OGRA and ensure alignment with PTA with TPA rules promulgated by the regulator. In case of Terminal 2, the Operation and the Service Agreement (OSA) does not explicitly mention any revenue sharing model. Being a guaranteed terminal, however, there should be a revenue sharing between the terminal operator and the PLTL for utilization of any excess capacity. PLTL has terminated the OSA with PGPCL for Terminal 2, and the matter is under arbitration, but PLTL and Pakistan Gas Port Consortium Limited (PGPCL) have nevertheless continued the terminal operations under a court order which is being implemented by both parties without prejudice to their respective positions. Since the OSA is in operation, it would logically follow that negotiations between PLTL and PGPCL can be held to arrive at a mutually acceptable TPA arrangement. The agreement on TPA can then be addendum unto the OSA. The committee recommends an early and amicable settlement of the conflict or dispute between the parties is desirable for a sustainable and optimized operation of the terminal, notes the report, adding that despite their divergent positions, the principles for TPA should preferably be same for all parties so that future excess capacity scenarios could also be covered. At the same time, utilization of the excess capacity and the maximum allowable expansion of the existing terminal infrastructure should be clarified and publicly announced. This will inform the investors to firm up their investments in the new merchant terminals, the report concludes. And in the end, the formal request, if you have not yet, please subscribe our channel and press the like and bell button to get the fresh from us. Thank you for watching. Have a nice time and goodbye.